This week we'll be exploring Stanley, Idaho. Stanley is our go-to getaway destination. We make the 3-hour drive several times a year with the goal of photographing some wildlife. And if we struggle finding the wildlife, we can always just take in that majestic landscape. Stanley is positioned at the base of the Sawtooth National Forest, and there are so many places to explore that it would literally take a lifetime to take it all in. However, we're not here to explore the mountains. This time, we're here to explore the valley streams in hopes of photographing the little guy that left his mark on this rock, the American Dipper. And, unfortunately, after locating the Dipper, I would soon find a frustrating limitation of my camera autofocus system. Let's see how this turns out. One of the wonderful things about making that 3-hour drive is the fact that it's absolutely gorgeous. It seems like there's something to see around every curve. Plus, there are plenty of stops along the way where we can get out and explore. And in Katie's case, plenty of places to stop and hug a tree. The dippers are rather abundant here in the valley. There's typically a few to be found every mile or so along the mountain streams. You have to look close though. The white marks on the rocks are a dead giveaway. I've also learned that the water can't be too deep. They love wading around in that fast-moving shallow creek. Turns out, this isn't exactly the ideal location. And lakes aren't good either. But I saw the clouds were breaking and I wanted to be here to take in this show. Alright, well, it's time to get down to business. I noticed immediately that it was unusually quiet. Other than an occasional squirrel or chipmunk, it was dead. No birds chirping in the mountains this time of year. We did get lucky and run into a few bald eagles, and that's not nothing. These guys are absolutely magnificent. Unfortunately, they didn't stick around, and we didn't exactly feel like chasing them around all morning. So it turns out even when there's nothing to see, there's something to see. Bottom line, there's a lot to discover, but like I said, I'm here for the little guy that left his mark on that rock. I'm pretty confident I'm in the right spot. All signs point to yes. Rocks to perch on? Okay. Shallow, fast-moving waters? Check. Little white indicators on the rocks? Yes, indeed. Nothing left to do now but wait. And when you wait, sometimes you get a little more than you bargained for. But, unfortunately, day one, no American Dipper. On day 2, I got there before sunrise to survey the situation, and, as anticipated, they were there, right where I expected them to be. Time to get in a position. Unfortunately, the shooting conditions were not at all in my favor. The fog, it was thick, and there was little light to work with. Additionally, the fog just kept rolling in, which rendered the autofocus pretty much useless. I definitely found the limits to the autofocus system. I positioned the autofocus points directly on the subject, and all morning I struggled. The autofocus just didn't want to grab the subject, so I was relegated to old school manual focus. The good news is the dippers kept returning to the same spot under the bridge. Unfortunately, that kind of aggravated the problem. It was in deep shadow plus low light, and the fog, that just equals struggle. Thank goodness for focus peaking. As conditions improved, they would occasionally creep out into the light, and after a couple of hours, the sun started burning off some of that fog. And then, I got lucky. They flew from under the bridge into better light, but then the fog rolled back in. All in all, I spent nearly 3 hours with the American Dipper, and finally, just when I was ready to pack it up, one little guy landed right in front of me. Looks like I've got a few images to work with. Not exactly up to Trond Westby standards, but it's something. By the way, if you haven't checked out Trond Westby's YouTube channel, I'll put a link in the description. He is the Dipper Master. So it turns out, underneath all that fog, there was a stream that had exactly what I was looking for. A shallow, fast-moving stream with a rock that bears the mark of the American Dipper.